fellow tennis nerds. I hope all is well. Another day, second day in a row with pretty clear skies and some sun actually, although it's mainly cloudy now. But yesterday was awesome. After 4 or 5 days of rain, you're so happy to be out on the tennis court. We don't have many indoor courts here. We have one, or actually one location with 2 courts, and that's not really enough to cover the whole island, and they're privately owned, so you have to really contact the owners and make sure you can play there. It costs a little bit more as general as well, and tennis in Malta is generally quite cheap. Talking around €4 for 90 minutes when I'm playing at my current club. Yesterday I had this kind of return back to the Prestige MP. For you who've been following me, you know that I like the Extreme Tour a lot. I've been playing around with that. I'm always testing new rackets. Obviously it's part of my gig here and being a tennis nerd. And today I'm gonna try and compare the Extreme Tour and the Prestige MP and see what I kind of like the best. I've strung them up with similar strings and tensions and pretty much close customization. They're around 327, 330 swing weights. I will also then compare them to the Boom Pro. I know maybe some of you were surprised about my Musetti videos that I didn't compare the Boom Pro, but I don't have that racket yet, so I need more time with it. Although it might have looked like a comparison from the thumbnail, so sorry about that. But I will compare these rackets because they are close enough. They are 98 square inches, 16-19 pattern, both the Extreme Tour and the Boom Pro. And the Boom, I assume, is a little bit stiffer, has a 22mm beam, while the Extreme Tour is more like 21, 21.5. 22, I think, something like that, or 21, 21.5, 23. Definitely more of a tapered beam. So I just feel like I can swing through and not worry about overhitting and missing, and that really helps my game, helps me stay loose, helps my technique. Generally, I feel that sometimes these low-powered, more advanced play racket helps your technique because you need to put more into the game yourself. Might not help your results. That's depending on the individual, but it helps your technique quite a lot. So I think that's why it works better for me, and I tend to kind of play better, flow more when I play with more control-oriented rackets. And the Prestige MP is kind of in the middle there. It's not like an iPrestige that I've flirted with a bit now recently, because that's very demanding. The Prestige MP allows you a little bit more room for outside shots with the 98 square inch head size, but it's still quite plush, arm friendly, good feel, and does most things well. I don't get the same power on serve or ground stroke, so I need to provide more myself, but I think as my kind of go-to racket, it makes a lot of sense for me to play with the Prestige MP. And I have some other rackets in my bag as well that I will look at today. Let's have a look at the bag. And I'm in Pembroke here in Malta, and we'll flip the switch. Head bag, this is one I like. It's really big. That's the whole point, since I carry a lot of equipment with me. It's like 15 rackets. I got my wallet and card key here. Let's remove that stuff. And I don't have any camera people for my channel, so you have to just live with my footage here. That's how it is. And here we go. So we have the Pure Strike 98 1820 stiff, but easy power, quite a nice frame actually, but it's not quite for me. I prefer the feeling of the Prestige or the Extreme Tour. I like to be bit more connected to the ball, although there's nothing wrong with this one. I would though be a bit careful with your elbow and wrist and stuff, because it is a bit stiffer. That's where the power comes from generally with this racket. Also, the swing weight of this one is very high. It's 340 swing weight, which is high, so not for everyone for sure. Quite demanding. I have the Vulcal V-Cell 10, the Pro version that's heavier, 320 gram. I think it's Pro, maybe it's just 320. Let's have a look at the demo. No, it's just the 320, but it's more like a powerful Prestige MP. Technically could have been a switch, but I'm not as connected to the string bed with that one. Don't feel that I have exactly the same level of control, but otherwise it's a very good racket. I'm gonna make a full review of that one. We have the Extreme Tour. I have only customized it slightly. I'm using topspin strings in both this one and the other one. I like those strings actually, and there's a little bit of lead tape up there at 12. Just about 2 grams, and that's all pretty much. And I have added some weight underneath here, underneath the grip. It's a regular grip and an over grip, and maybe 4 or 5 grams under here, so to get it a bit more headlight while still getting some extra swing weight and plow through up in the hoop. So I like this racket a lot, but do I like it as much as the Prestige? This we will see. In the other compartment, this is what you find, control rackets, 4 Prestiges. The old iPrestige, great racket with cap grommets to make it even heavier. I really like that one a lot, but then this is the standard for me, right? So, and the question is here, like, why do I still play with this one? This is now strung with Topspin Cyber Flash, and there's some weight added here at the hoop. Not very scientifically, but this is the kind of location I think works best, and brings up the swing weight to 330 with the dampener here. It's a Wilson dampener, sorry head. I just picked something in the bag. I know some of you might think that looks a bit weird, but yeah, I take whatever I find. But yeah, it's a good looking racket. I still like it a lot and works really well for my game. I feel like I can play the tennis I like, although sometimes the balls land a bit short against better players. And I have another one strung with a more spinny string, another Topspin string, because I'm testing their strings. I had to add more weight to this one to match them, so you see a bit more weight here, and they are actually matched now thanks to my head 3-in-1 machine, so that's pretty cool. So my go-tos here, pretty nice against the green, I must say. Looks awesome. And how do they then compare to this one, the new one, the 2021, now called Pro? Well, for me, it's this one has a little bit of a different feel. It feels a little bit stiffer, gives you a bit more power, but just feels a little bit less plush, and the swing weight is a little bit higher, which, I mean, in stock form it's kind of up to my other Prestiges, but it's not quite there for me. So I'm gonna play with it more, strung it up with the same string Cyber Flash to give that proper comparison, but I haven't really found it to like it as much as I do with my old ones. I also like that I can customize them. They are low in swing weight, stock form, so I do have some room. Much more prefer that than having a heavy swing weight with the risk of it going haywire, you know, going way overboard in swing weight. That I don't like as much, and I think that's a general problem if you have bad quality control. If you get one that's off in spec, it's gonna hurt you quite a bit. So yeah, we'll see some comparisons, mainly head rackets today, Extreme Tour, and then we have the 2 Prestige MPs from 2019 and the Prestige Pro from 2021, and quite curious about all this and where I end up. But the Prestige MP is where home is, so that's where I tend to go when I'm confused, and it seems to work for me pretty much every time. And also give you a look on the old iPrestige. It's a beautiful old school racket. I know many of you are old school players. Comes with a synthetic gut string, still plays with good control, but yeah, more shaped poly would give it more spin potential, so might be something I try later on. But I really like this frame a lot as well. All right, it's time for me to head over to the court and hit some balls, and I'll report back. So which one would you go for over the Prestiges and the Extreme Tour, and why? Let me know in the comments. Which one do you think I should go for? I mean, it's a very personal thing. We'll see if I can make up my mind soon. It's always nice to have a go-to frame and not be confused. That's going to screw up your tennis generally, so it's better to have your set racket and string, and then if you want to experiment, you can at times, but it's good to have home. Go back to home sometimes. And like I said in my previous video, don't sell your old frames that you like. To keep them, you might want to go back to them. So even if you're finding a new flame that's playing with more power, more spin, more control, more touch, whatever, I think it's better to then keep and stick with your old rackets, and that's my general recommendation. So I'm keen now to hit some balls and get a better understanding of which one works for me. So the idea with this session was to play test all 3 of these different rackets. I did do it briefly in the warm-up, and I really like the new Prestige Pro, which is the old MP, but when it comes to the match play, I still prefer the old one, and that could just be saying that I'm used to it. It's maybe not that racket is better or whatever. I think there are a few players that actually prefer the new version. They feel like it's a bit more stable. When Matthew tried it, I think he preferred the new one, for example. So there are good things to say about the new one. They are very similar, and since I'm used to the older one and I kind of prefer a slightly plusher feel over a bit of extra power, and that feels like home to me, I'm sticking with the red one. But that's just me, so you have to find what works for you. But this wasn't like a huge upgrade in my opinion. just a slight improvement. I think they really nailed it with that Prestige 2019, the red one that I'm using and really enjoying. So for me, it's a go-to frame for a reason. Yes, it's not perfect. I do lack some power at times. You know, my technique is not the best at all times, and I need to work on some things. But I feel like that one allows me to swing out, and my opponent actually tell me that I'm playing better with the red one when I'm playing. Compared to other rackets I'm testing, not just this one, but compared to other rackets, and the results lately have been very good in match play and set play and so on. The issue today that happened, and the reason I made this video a bit shorter than I intended, although it's pretty long, was that I had a pretty bad shoulder pain, some inflamed muscle or something. I need to go see a physio. I haven't been playing that much this week due to all the rain, so it was a bit surprising. Maybe something I pulled in the gym or something else that happened, I don't know. But it's a little bit frustrating because we were playing a solid match. I won the first set, and then this happened, and I was feeling pretty bad. And yeah, it just got worse and worse. And what you should do then, when your injury is getting worse, you should stop. So I played on a bit more for my opponent's sake, which is probably not recommended. But I wanted to see if I could, you know, tweak it a bit and make it go away, or at least, you know, lessen the pain. But it's still there, and I'm feeling it now, and I'm sitting here doing this voiceover. So I'll put some effort into it. I want to get back on the court ASAP, and that's the plan. So here I'm hitting with the Extreme Tour, and that one gives you a little bit free power, a bit extra spin, not quite as plush, not quite as controlled, but you get a little bit higher launch over the net. It's probably the racket I'm the most potent with, but I don't feel I can trust it quite as much as the Prestige MP, and I'm also enjoying that plush feel, you know, where it's just, you really feel the ball, and I love that old school touch. So it's a shame this session had to end on kind of a sour note, and we had to stop play, which wasn't ideal, and now I just need to find the best way of getting back to tennis and being able to play. I mean, I could hit from the back, but with some pain, so and the serve was completely impossible to hit, so I'm not sure exactly what's going on. But injuries have happened before, and they usually go away if you do the proper work. And I have a very good physio, and I'm really willing to put in the effort to get back on the tennis court, because that's where I love to be. So I will do my best to be back ASAP for playtest and other things. So stay tuned to the channel. Let's end this video with saying that the Prestige MP is the winner for me. That doesn't mean anything more than that. It works the best for my game. I just love the feel. I will 99% continue with that frame. Although I will probably keep a couple of Extreme Tours in my bag for days when I need a little bit of free power and I'm not feeling as fresh. It's quite nice to have one racket at least to mix up things with, because I think that will help you, you know, if things are not working out at all with your current frame you're playing, you at least having one racket, one setup where we can get some kind of placebo effect, if not anything else, out of your game. You know, being able to just switch it up a little bit, and the Extreme Tour and the Prestige MP are close enough that this might work. If I had a 95 square inch and 100 square inch twist power, it might be a bit too much of a difference, and it might be a bit weird, but now I feel like I'm pretty home with these frames, and I can easily switch them up and play with them, both of them. So that will be the plan. I do like both frames. I feel I'm more at home with the Prestige MP, and having a home for a guy that tests rackets at the extent I do, I think is quite important, and maybe it's one of the things that's contributed to my injuries, and that's what most people say. And other people that test rackets and so on, they say that testing rackets and playing around with strings, tensions, rackets, everything, grip shapes, will kind of screw up your arm a little bit. And I don't have any tennis elbow feeling at all, but the shoulder with a lot of serving in the last couple of days might have taken a toll, right? So we'll see. I'll do my best to get back ASAP. Thanks for watching this kind of little bit different style. I shot it with my iPhone Pro that I recently bought, and the quality of the video seems good. I'm not sure about the sound. If you like this kind of more informal, not sitting in my office and talking into a mic thing, I'll happily do more. I kind of like it a little bit better.
I'm generally looking for ways to create more content without wasting so much energy and time, because yeah, I have other things to do obviously, and I'm not like the best content editor. I don't do the best sound proofing and stuff like that. I'm trying to learn everything, because that's the attitude I have with everything in life pretty much, and I like to be able to do everything myself, but obviously it's not ideal because I'm not a pro. And I've previously my job, I've worked with pros. I've been, you know, working on commercials and things for bigger companies, and when you go on big production shoots, you travel to LA and stuff. I've done all that, but when you have to do everything yourself, you realize how much work and how much skill and experience go into all these jobs. And yeah, I know my quality of sound and video and tennis, whatever, it's always a little bit up and down, but I'm trying to show it from a human perspective, and it's just one guy's journey into this beautiful sport that we all enjoy, called tennis. So that's been the vantage point, and that's the one I want to keep. And I also want to keep like 100% honest approach to everything I do. I've always believed that being transparent and authentic is the most important thing to build a strong personal brand, but also to really connect with people, and letting people see you for who you are, I think is vital, and I think it helps you sleep better at night and so on. So that's been my philosophy, and it's going to be my philosophy. I don't want to do anything to kind of jeopardize that. So that's the only real promise I can get from this channel, is that I'm always going to try my best, and I'm always going to be honest, because that's the way I live my life, take it or leave it. And it's not always the prettiest or the best, maybe in all situations, but it's something that I have decided to do. It just feels easier and feels more natural to me to communicate that way. So that I can promise, and I hope you stick around for the journey. So some musings and some gameplay from today's session before my elbow got a little bit too bad. I couldn't serve really well, which you might be able to spot in some points where I'm serving just hitting the ball over, kind of, and that's not always fun. But overall, a good session, and thanks to Alberto for playing with me as usual, and sorry for not being able to finish the whole session. Well, that's all for this one. A little bit of a different format. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to support the work I do, please join Patreon, patreon.com/tennisnerd. Or if you want to buy something maybe from Tennis Warehouse or Swing Vision, Top Court, check out my affiliates in the description below. I will get a small commission at no cost to you if you buy anything. That is all. Have a nice day, and don't forget to play some tennis.